Welcome to Inside Your County Government. I'm your host and community engagement coordinator, Doria Fleischer. We're back with another episode today, talking about how you can get to know our departments better. It's a chance, if you know about our departments already, to get reacquainted and maybe learn something else. And if you're someone who's new to understanding county government, this is a great opportunity to hear what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. I am so excited to be joined here today by Martin Harris, who is our Director of the Department of Public Works, which, Martin, when I think about all that you guys had an impact on in my morning so far, as in like, I got up, I showered, I drove here, I brushed my teeth, all the things, you've gotten me through my day so far. So thanks, Martin. I appreciate the work you do.
You're very welcome. There you go.
So Martin, tell us a little bit about the Department of Public Works, please. And we're going to keep it pretty high level, so I don't feel like you need to, do deep dives. If we've got any topics that we love, we can certainly do those on another time. This is just a big chance for you to let our community know about the great work that you and your employees do every day.
Well, to be honest, first of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be here with you, Doria. Honestly, you kind of, you're sort of my advanced team, because you sort of started with exactly, I think it's one of the key things about what DPW is. I think DPW is probably the only agency of county government that touches everybody in Charles County, whether or not you're a resident or a visitor, every single day. Like you said, we've got sort of the full range of things, from the water that you turn on in the morning to take your showers, to the roads that you drive on during the day to get here, to the buildings and the facilities that we're utilizing right now to do this interview and to carry on the functions of county government. We're what I call an implementing agency. We are very focused on literally how you get things done. How do you make sure that our systems are functioning properly? How do you make sure people can move about safely? How do you make sure that the lights are on, the buildings are operating, the IT is working, and all the things that sort of stand up the operations of county government? We are, some people may not know this, but we're the largest agency in county government here. We've got, at any given time, somewhere between 355 and maybe 365 folks at any given day, spread out across our two sides. We are largely, and this is just for grouping's sake, broken into two sort of sides. We have a utility side and a facility side. We are obviously right now utilizing the facility side of the shop. We have.
Thank you for the air conditioning. It feels wonderful as always.
You're welcome. And you'd probably be surprised to learn just how much time I spent talking about stuff like air conditioning and vents and lighting and things like that. That is basically run by the wonderful folks in our buildings and trades section. They're under the facility side of the shop. That's John Earl and his team, and they do a fantastic job really working on all the facilities in the county. People really don't realize that we have hundreds of facilities in the county, and
because we have facilities, and I don't want to. This actually would make a great topic, so I won't dive too deep, but. We have facilities that are county government owned and run that different agencies are using. So we're not just talking the county government building. We're talking all across the county, different buildings.
Everything from, I mean, if it's got Charles County on it, it's probably us.
Interesting. Okay.
So, So that's obviously one big thing. And one of the things I'll say about their work is that, like you said a minute ago, it's like, hey, great, thank you for the air conditioning working. Honestly, part of our folks, the way you really know we're doing a really good job is that you don't have to think about these things. We have to think about them, and we have a very dedicated team of folks who do, but our goal, quite frankly, is for you to almost be able to take us for granted, in that sense, that you can rely on the fact that we're going to be able to provide these things on a consistent basis. I'd say the same thing with our road shop. That's those are the people who take care of the potholes and do the resurfacing and work with our planning and growth management folks who do the layout and design to make sure the roads are implemented and built in a safe way. Also, when we have inclement weather issues, as we've had a number of, they're the first folks that are out there to clear the trees when the storms come through, which is obviously a growing challenge for us as we're seeing more and more impacts of these storms to climate change. And so they're the first folks who are deployed for that. They're the ones who come out and are running the snow operation and taking care of that when we do have snow events. Hopefully, we won't have many this upcoming season, but if we are, we'll be prepared.
And I think that's always one of the favorite topics when we have our presentations for Citizens Academy. Learning about this isn't just take a plow and go out on the road, and this isn't just the difference between state roads and county roads and how much snow. And it's a science.
It is.
It's such a science.
It's a strange thing, because if you're in this field for a while, you look at things very differently than most of the general populace does, because we can tell you 3 or 4 different varieties of snow that you might see and how we might go about treating them, and how the timing of what comes first, whether you get a freeze first or whether or not you get rain first, or whether or not there's an icing and then a thawing and then a snowing, all those things and the sequence and how they go is a pretty big determinant about how we, and I'm glad to hear you talk about the state side as well. We do coordinate very closely with SHA, State Highway Administration, on that, and a number of major things. But there's a real science into how that's analyzed, and the course of action that you take to follow to address it at a given time.
And you're reminding me, I'm scribbling a note that says snow episode, because I know you said we probably aren't going to get snow this year, but you never know. So that would be a great one for us to dive into, of everything you just said. So our community understands that it's not just as easy as it's snowing, clear my road for me. Right.
There are a number of things that go into it. And I understand why people have a tendency to want to just say that, okay, I see this, so therefore that should be the natural result. But there's quite a fair amount that goes into the operation that makes those determinations. So, another thing that I think that folks may not realize that we do that's really important is we've got our whole environmental resources shop. Who runs the landfills and does our mulching programs, and they're the ones who are responsible for the community cleanup that took place earlier this spring. Beautification is an incredibly important issue for us here in the county. It's something that we're trying to get ahead of. We're actually getting ready to launch a program in partnership with SHA to focus on litter reduction and beautification steps. My friend Kelly Beavers and the folks in Rex Park and Tourism are also involved with us in that.
Awesome.
And so, being able to make sure that our county is clean, it is doing We have a very small part, but we all have a part to play in, reducing the impacts of climate change. So we're looking at things like we've got our first electric vehicles that have come into the department in recent months. It really is exciting. It's really exciting, and we have a real role to play in being good environmental stewards. And my department, because of what we do and the number of things that we touch, we really have to be at the forefront of that. And so the folks in the environmental resources shop are kind of they're the head of the spear in helping us to puncture through and poke through on the issues of beautification, environmental protection, and responsible stewardship. So that's a really
awesome.
Important.
It all ties together.
It really does tie together. These are the things that I think really help behind the scenes to enhance the quality of life of the citizens here in Charles County.
Right.
So, on that side, we also have, which actually speaks very much to what we're talking about. The county has a very large fleet of vehicles that we're also responsible for, keeping them all the preventive maintenance done and keeping them functioning properly, keeping them functioning safely. We're also looking at our diversification of that fleet to bring in more alternative energy sources to sort of lower the impact, because transportation has a big impact on climate. And so we have a really dedicated team on that side of the shop that's responsible for keeping that all up and running. And the massive amount of inventory of things that you need in order to be able to keep a department of ours functioning, everything from staples to plows to backhoes, everything you can think about in the middle. So
when you were saying vehicles, I was picturing everything like from the sedan that takes an employee to do an inspection all the way to a massive truck that has a job that I don't even understand. All of them have to run.
That's right. They all have to run, and they all have to, well, I personally believe that we should be utilizing our entire fleet, and how we deploy it should be a reflection of our values in terms of how we approach issues like environmental resource protection. We're very big on utilizing the right tool for the right job.
Okay.
Even when we went back to flipping back to the snow thing, that's the reason why sometimes people say, well, you guys should just drop salt everywhere. Well, no, you really shouldn't.
Right.
There are reasons why you don't want to do that. You don't necessarily want more of that than you need going into the aquifers, into the bay, but there are right times for strategic deployments of things like that. And so the point that I want to try and get across is that there's actually kind of a lot of thought that goes into what sometimes seem like normal operations to keep a county government and running and keeping the citizens, served well, like they deserve to be. So.
Right. No, and you're giving my brain all sorts of deep thoughts and places to go.
And that's just the facility side.
And that's just right. The idea of, we, like you said, we take it for granted and we don't notice something. Like I'm not paying attention to how the road looks till I notice it's dirty. I'm not paying attention to the quality of the road till I hit a pothole. I'm not paying attention to my trash pickup till something goes wrong with it.
Exactly.
So I love the idea of we've got to figure out more ways to explain the science and the reasoning behind what you're doing. So it doesn't just look willy-nilly. It does show the deep intent that goes into the work you do.
There are, we have, in a department of our size and with the scale of operation we have everything from, we have people right now in hip waders in streams, and we also have people right now sitting in their offices doing high level engineering design work for work over at the Mattawoman wastewater treatment plant, which I'll talk about in a second. So we literally span the entire realm of jobs and opportunities, which is also one of the things I want the citizens to know, is that as our kids are going to school and we're doing progressing in their education, one of the things I want folks to be aware of is the range of careers that present themselves in the public works and transportation fields. It's if you can think of it, we've got it. And so a lot of times folks will say, well, I'm not sure that I want to, I might not want to be a wastewater engineer. Well, you know what? But I might want to be an administrator, or I might want to work, in environmental issues, or I might want to I might want to be somebody who works with our lawyers. We have people who do all of those things.
The whole range.
Yeah. So the field is if you want it, chances are we got it.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. All right. So tell us a little bit about the utility side.
So like I said, one of the first things you did this morning is you got to turn on your water and get in the shower. Well, that water's got to come from somewhere. It's got to be clean. It's got to be available and reliable. And we have a very large operation that is responsible for both providing clean water and, quite frankly, clean the water that eventually goes into into the bay and through our aquifers. And so that's our utility side. The major facility there is the Mattawoman wastewater treatment plant, which is located in the far western side of the county, just off of Hawthorne Road, heading down towards Indian Head. That facility, right now, one of the things we're doing right now and we're very excited about is finalizing another flow equalization basin, which will help us with the water treatment. This is a just for scale of it. It's roughly the size of a football field, but it's about 40 feet deep. So it holds millions of gallons of water that will allow us to aid in our treatment and cleaning of water. So that is we could probably do a whole thing on that, but the process for gathering, we have a series of pumping stations around the county that pump water back to Mattawoman, but the process of gathering that, treating it, cleaning it, so that you've got when it does get returned into the system, the water is of a safe and a quality level is. It's incredibly complex. I think one of the things people don't realize, we have a lab that spends all day testing water, spends all day testing water for you name it. And you go in and it's just like watching, it's like watching like NCIS or something and walking into their lab. Well, we have people doing that type of work at DPW for the county every day,
All the time.
just to make sure that what they're getting and what's being returned to the environment is cleaning up the standards. We work very closely with the health department on that, with the Maryland Department of the Environment on that. We got several different shops in there. We've got our technical support operations, and we've got operations support there. These are just different. They're different sides of the coin that look at what's happening at the big plant and in the different parts of the water infrastructure in the north, central, and southern parts of the county. So you're talking thousands of miles of piping.
Yeah.
You're talking just tremendous, just for you to turn on your shower and have water come out and it be there and reliable and be at a pressure that you can, is enough so you can get the soap out of your hair, but not so much that it shoots you back against the wall like a fire hose. All that there's it's a very calibrated, very calculated system, and there's a whole separate one that makes sure that when you're done with the shower and the water that runs up there, when you flush, that is all taken out, separated, and cleaned, and returned back in a safe manner. So
and environmental.
Yes,
it's interesting. I've heard you talk repeatedly about we've got to do what's good for our community members, the humans, but we also have to do what's good for the environment so that our future community members. Yeah, this is. Yeah, it's a lot, Martin.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
My role is, I used to say this in a former job I had, but it's also very true here. My job is to make sure that all the trains are running. It's not necessarily to drive them. We have very talented people that head up the offices that do an excellent job of coordinating with our employees. But really, to be honest with you, when the snow comes, I'm not the one who's going to be driving the plow.
Right.
We've had a couple of issues over the last couple of weeks where, due to storms, we've lost power at the power plant. We've had to take care of a couple of issues that related to that. Well, when the power went out at 8:30 or whatever on a Saturday night, I got up and I went down there to make sure that we were implementing what we needed to do. But I had 15 people who beat me there. Who, and I think this is one of the things that's very important for our folks to know is our folks are. During Thanksgiving and Christmas, when you're sitting at home, our folks are working.
Right.
If something goes on, they drop whatever they're doing. They come in, and that's one of the things that I've really grown to appreciate, and I think is really just a high testimony and tribute to the Charles County is the attitudes of the folks at DPW. They're incredibly service oriented.
Right.
We don't pay $1 jillion, so nobody's getting rich in this. Of course, we're in public service. Nobody gets rich in public service anyway. Right. But we have competitors who will pay them more. But our people are here because we have a lot of folks who are Charles County residents, who are Charles County natives, who go back generations, and they're here because they want to be here. They're here because they choose to work for this county and in this line of work. And when you have something happen at 8:30 on a Saturday night and people are out doing whatever they're doing and they just immediately drop what they're doing, and I'm on site with them at 10 o'clock and their attitudes are spot on. They're like, let's do this. There's not a complaint. There's not a frown. It's all about let's get the situation addressed and make sure that our system is up and running for the citizens. It's really inspiring, to be honest with you.
It is. And I think it's community-led, which is beautiful when I hear you say that so many of our employees have lived, they live here. So when the water goes out, it's water going out for their families too.
Yep.
When the roads are bad, it's for their families also. That's beautiful.
They care very deeply about what they do. And one of the things I've been focusing a lot on, quite frankly, has been ways for us to, as you know, to tell the story and share what it is that we do, and the level of training that goes into what I mean. We do the truck rodeo every fall, and we've talked a lot about how we can get more people to see that.
Right.
The reason why I want folks to see that is it brings a different level of understanding and respect for when you see folks who are working out in the streets. You go to that thing, and we've got somebody who's got a backhoe, who's got a 25-foot beam on it that's 6 inches or so wide, and their job is it'll be a 20-foot beam that's 6 inches wide, and it's their job to take that and get that in one shot into a space that's 21 feet long and 8 inches high.
Yeah.
And they
it's
do
an
it.
art and a science.
And they're manipulating this complex equipment, and they do it. And so first of all, it's a good thing for them. They love the competition to show what each other can do and blah, blah, blah. But it really, I think, helps to elevate the level of understanding and respect for what is going on around us on a day-to-day basis. The folks you see out in these trucks on the road, I mean, first of all, please give them a break, give them space when you see them work.
Right.
They're out there for us. And what they're doing is, even if you might just see somebody holding a sign, spinning it around saying stop or slow down. What goes into to deploying a flagging operation actually takes multiple steps, and there's a science behind that. And so having an understanding of what people are doing and why they're doing it, I think helps us to be able to better communicate with our citizens and makes that relationship better for all of us.
Definitely. No, I got to experience my first truck rodeo. So the truck rodeo is a chance for our employees to come out and show off some of their skills with this equipment. And it was amazing. And to see everybody, the skill they have, but also the fun they have. There was a lot of good-natured cheering and ribbing, and it was good to see.
There may be some side things going on.
Yes,
like
a little friendly competition is always nice. You got to have fun at work sometimes, right?
Yep.
So, Martin, can you wrap up by telling us the 3 things that you want our community to know about the work you do? If there were 3 takeaways that somebody's listened and now they can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to be a better steward for Charles County Department of Public Works.
Well, I think the first one sort of starts with the last thing we were talking about, which is I'd like for them to be aware when they see our folks working in and around the community, and to understand that, give them a break, give the space to do the work that they're doing. We do have, processes where people can send in, consumer citizen service requests that we do. We field all those usually pretty quickly. So the first thing I would just like them to do is to be aware of the work that's going on around them, and give the folks the space to be able to do that work. The second thing that I would probably want citizens to do is to understand their role. And we haven't talked too much about this in this conversation, but I think how sort of safety focused I am. A lot of my background has to do with mobility and connectivity, and so as people are moving around, I want them to remember that we're all utilizing our roads and our facilities together. So we have a real role in keeping Charles County safe, and we've got buses and cars and motorcycles and pedestrians. We've got a lot of schools, but we also have senior centers and things. So we have a lot of users of our network, and I would just really like citizens to take care of each other. And I love that. Yeah.
A lot of users in a network. Let's play nice in the network together, please. Right? Like, this is our network.
I mean, do the simple stuff. When you go out at night and you're taking a walk, it's getting dark early, you put on a safety vest or something that's reflective, and utilize the crosswalks and do those things just to keep us safer as we're utilizing the system. As far as my personal desire would be, as you can tell, I'm quite proud of our employees. Right. And so I would love for our residents to take the time, look at our websites, look at the social media things that are out here, so they can learn what's going on around them in the county and just be sort of more informed. Because I think that I also should probably say this, we're not perfect. We have things we will make mistakes. We do this is again, we're juggling a lot of balls. It's natural that on occasion something's going to fall. So while we're not perfect, I want folks to understand that we are trying very hard to provide, top level consistent service for them. And so I think really, quite frankly, the more people are informed about what's going on around them, and obviously I'm very partial to DPW, but this is true for, you're going to be talking to the other folks about what they're doing for them in terms of the government. The more the people are informed about what's going on around them, I think the better off we all are.
I love that. So I'm going to really hold on to that, what you said about we're all users of the same network, and your network is touching all of our lives, like you said. So let's use it well together.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Martin, thank you so much for being here
Absolutely.
today. What a nice thing for me to hold into my head for the rest of the day of how we can use this network well together.
My
Martin
pleasure.
Harris, our Director of the Department of Public Works for Charles County Government. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for tuning in for another Meet the Departments, getting a chance to understand how our county government operates on a day-to-day basis. Take care, stay safe, stay engaged. For more information on Charles County government, visit our website, www.charlescountymd.gov. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to the county's e-news. You can also get many alerts through the citizen notification system. Don't forget to watch CCG TV on Comcast Channel 95 or Verizon Fios 10. We're also streaming on Apple TV and Roku devices. Just search Charles County Government. You can get all of our great podcast content wherever you get your podcasts by searching Charles County Government. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.